Tantor with a recap of Georgia Tech's 48-23 loss against Ole Miss. I'm actually not upset at all about this. I predicted the final score would be 45-24 Ole Miss. My money was on Ole Miss. I just saw what was going to happen, and it happened. So I wish I was wrong, but I wasn't. Believe it or not, though, I came out with a different take on Ole Miss. I don't think there's a big difference between Ole Miss and Georgia Tech as far as athletes go. I think that if you change coaching staffs, Georgia Tech would have won 48-23 over Ole Miss if the Georgia Tech coaching staff moved over to Ole Miss and Ole Miss's coaching staff moved over to Georgia Tech. This game was, in my opinion, decided upon by coaching. Neither team has a defense. Both teams' defenses stink. Georgia Tech's defense stinks. Ole Miss defense stinks. Both of them have playmakers on offense, both wide receivers, running backs. Both of them have average offensive lines. And both of them's quarterbacks are relatively equal, quite frankly. The difference is the offensive play calling and the offensive coaching staff. Lane Kiffin is an offensive genius. And Georgia Tech can't make that statement on anybody on their coaching staff. So that's not the case there. Good. I mean, you take a look. Ole Miss had over 500 yards total offense. Georgia Tech had over 450 total yards offense. So they're relatively equal. Both defenses are absolutely atrocious and not even worth talking about or watching, quite frankly. We'll just stick with what I liked, what I hated. What I liked, we'll say the only player on defense to do anything was the cornerback Sims, number 0 in your playbook. He broke up a bunch of passes, made tackles out there, sure tackles, wasn't beaten at all, unlike all the other cornerbacks and safeties who were beaten like a drum. Sims played well, and he's the only guy on defense I can say that actually made plays and played well. Biggers blocked a field goal. Wasn't on defense. It was more on special teams, but Biggers blocked a field goal. I liked that. The rest of what I liked was really and truly the offense. The offensive line played well. This was their best game. The offensive line's best game was this game. They did pretty well. There were holes to run through. There was time to throw the ball. The 2 sacks, both sacks were on King. They were not on the offensive line. King had time to throw the ball. We'll get to that later. The running backs, when they could cut back, they made plays. So I like the running backs. I liked what I saw there. We worked the tight ends into the game. Leonard caught some passes today and also was out there making his usual devastating blocks. So I like that tight end. And then we get to the offensive superstar. It's Singleton at wide receiver. I don't want to mention him in the same name as a NFL Hall of Famer and College Hall of Famer, Calvin Johnson, but number 13 at wide receiver is the best guy catching passes that I have seen on campus since Calvin was on campus. I mean, Singleton had 2 catches out of bounds that were absolutely amazing that were rolled out of bounds. He had 1 touchdown. He would have had 2. He was so far behind the defense, he had to come back and fair catch that pass. Haynes King couldn't throw it far enough. Singleton's got the speed. He's got the hands. He's the full package. He'd be my primary target every play. I mean, the guy's just phenomenal. Can't say enough good things about him. He is a superstar, and he will be if a quarterback will get him the ball. What I hated, the entire defense, with the exception of Sims. They were junk. All right. Georgia Tech did change some things up. They dropped that soft man coverage for the most part. They started rotating more defensive backs, so we didn't see some of the guys that are so bad as much as we normally see. Looks like they've watched a little bit of film. Didn't do any good. All the missed tackles out there. I stopped counting missed tackles at 25. Once you hit 20, you should just stop with missed tackles. Too many arm tackles. It's obvious that they don't work on it during the week. I don't know if they don't work on it during the week, but it's obvious that they don't, because you're just out there arm tackling, and offensive players just run through arm tackles. Once it got to 20, I was like, well, I'll just count some more. And we hit 25, and I said, that's it. We'll just cut this missed tackles off at 25. And it's an epidemic. It's like COVID's hit the defense. It's the COVID version of missed tackles. Everybody's catching it. It's easy to catch, and it's fatal to trying to win a game. There's really nobody out there tackling, wrapping up, and taking a guy down. So I even saw a couple of guys, 13, we'll just pick on 13 because he shouldn't even be out on the field. He's trying to block people down. It's comical trying to watch him tackle. We've had a field goal blocked. I thought we fixed that when we changed kickers. I've watched that. I kept on rewinding it and watching the block. I think the interior of the line got blown up, and it didn't matter who was kicking that ball. It was going to get blocked. We get to the linebackers. I actually did, I do my own stats. So I did, initials and assists for the linebackers, and we'll just go with the linebackers out there playing. There was 5 linebackers had time out there. So number 7 and 13 started. 7 had 1 initial tackle to start with the majority of snaps. Not good. 13 had a pass defense, which was a good play. He had 2 initials. He had an assist, and he had a tackle for loss. By far his best game. It was still bad. He was easily blocked. He was supposed to be rushing the quarterback, and he pulled up and didn't pressure Dart, and Dart hit a deep touchdown pass. It was sad, very sad. The best linebacker today in limited with the backups that came in, 44. He had 4 initials and an assist. 4 had 3 initials, and 3 had an assist. Now, those 3 linebackers played less than 35% of the snaps, less than a third, and they easily outperformed the 2 starters. I don't know what the coaches are seeing on their film review, but it's not good. But the whole defense isn't any good. We didn't get any consistent pressure on Dart out there, so we did have 1 sack, first sack of the season, but we didn't get any pressure on him. Thus, he was able to pick them apart. Plus, he ran for 130 some yards, threw for over 250. He just ripped the defense to shreds. And I've been saying, hey, it's poor coaching on defense. I don't know if that's the case. I don't know if we've got players. I was watching Ole Miss receivers just run away from our defensive backs, and some of them I would be starting. And at our best safety's Powell Lee, number 5, and he got torched a couple times too. So if your best player on defense consistently is getting destroyed, then there's an issue. Now it's coaching that they haven't taught them how to tackle. But I don't know if we've got the players to consistently have a pass rush. I think the backup line, well, I know the backup linebackers are better than the starters. I think that could fix that problem, but they're definitely no Ace Ely and Thomas, who are A-type players. Our backups are C players. Our starters are Fs. So that's not good. And then the final thing, well, it's not the final thing, but the garbage refereeing out there, it didn't cost us the game, but, we didn't catch any breaks. Play calling in the 3rd period was just, we moved the ball in the first half. There was some questionable coaching calls. Take the points. Stay in the game. Take the points. Keep it close until you get your opportunities. Don't go for fake field goals. We need to block field goals, fake punts, that sort of crap. That's just pushing it and going for it on 4th down and not making it. Take your points. Keep the game close. Stay in the game. Really, I had questionable play calls, but we were moving the ball up and down the field the first half. Just couldn't get any points. This 3rd quarter, the play calls were horrible. And then whoever decided to go on for a fake punt, even though the receiver was held, the fake punt was a stupid idea. Now, let's just face it. It was stupid. Going forward on fourth down and deep in the territory was stupid. So coaching cost us this game. It was coaching and play calling. I don't think we ever would have won. So let me walk that back. We were never going to win this game because Ole Miss are better coaches than Georgia Tech's. Period. But Ole Miss has a good coaching staff. So it went the way I thought. Offense performed. Defense did not. We lose. It was expected. Play Wake next week. Let's see what we can do. Let's hope we make some changes. See you then.